Hi, I'm Lucy from Sew Essential, and today we're taking a look at the Janome 230DC, just one of hundreds of sewing machines on our site sewessential.co.uk. The 230DC is a great value, easy to use, computerised machine packed full of excellent features, including 30 stitches and 3 one-step buttonholes, a free extension table, a start-stop button so you can sew without having to use the foot control, needle up down for accurate sewing, sliding speed control so you can sew at your own pace, a lock stitch so you don't have to reverse to secure your stitching, and it also comes with a fantastic range of feet and accessories as standard. I'll pop a link here so you can take a closer look at the machine and purchase it on our site, and I'll show you later what's in the box, but now let's get started with a closer look at those features. Threading the machine is easy. Start by placing a reel of thread on the spool pin and slot your spool cap into position. You'll receive 2 of these, a larger one for larger reels of thread. Take the end of the thread and feed it round the little metal thread guide, making sure that it clicks into place. Feed the end of the thread through the little hole on the top of the bobbin, and once you've got that through there, position the bobbin on the bobbin winder and slide the bobbin winder to the right so that it clicks into place. Hold the end of the thread and apply some pressure to the foot pedal to start winding. Once you've done a few rotations, snip the end of the thread and continue winding until the bobbin's full. You'll also notice here there's a little square. That's for you to insert a second spool pin that comes with the machine and allows you to sew with a twin needle and create parallel lines of stitching. To insert the bobbin, you can follow the handy little guide on the bobbin cover. But I always say to people, just remember, it should form a P. The thread should come down the left-hand side of the bobbin. Remove the bobbin cover and insert the bobbin into the case. Ensure that the thread comes through the little guide at the front and bring it round to the back. And if you pull the thread, you should feel some gentle tension on it. Then slide the bobbin cover back into position. To thread the needle, firstly, use the lever at the back of the needle bar to ensure that the foot is in the up position. Turn the hand wheel to bring up the take-up lever. Take the end of your thread, bring it around the back of the thread guide with a little arrow and follow the arrows and numbers to bring the thread through the relevant guides. When you get to the take-up lever, thread it from right to left and ensure that it is secured in the take-up lever. To finish threading the needle, press the needle up down button twice, and that will bring the needle into the correct position for threading. Bring the thread behind the 2 thread guides here and here. Then gently pull the lever to bring the needle threader down. Take the thread from left to right through the relevant guides and across the front of the needle. Release the lever gently, and that will pull a little loop of thread through, which you can then continue to pull through by hand. Take the thread and place it under the foot and towards the back of the machine. To bring the bobbin thread up, press the needle up down button twice and then gently pull on the needle thread, which will bring a loop of the bobbin thread up, and you can use a pair of scissors or something similar to gently tease the bobbin thread out and take it to the back of the machine. The machine will automatically be set up for a straight stitch. To start stitching, place your fabric under the foot and lower the presser foot. It's worth mentioning here as well, there is an extra presser foot lift on this machine, so if you're working with thick or bulky fabrics, you've got some extra room there to manoeuvre your fabric under the foot. To start by securing your stitches, there's a reverse button. Hold the button down as you sew and that will sew backwards. You can then let go and continue sewing in the normal way. If you prefer a fixed stitch, you can press the target button and that will sew several stitches on the same spot to secure the stitching. It's also worth mentioning that fixed stitch can be used when you're sewing decorative stitches, and it will ensure that the last full pattern is completed before the stitching is secured. Another great feature on this machine is the needle up down. This allows you to decide whether you want to stop with the needle down in the fabric or up when you finish sewing. If I select down, I can sew my first row of stitches, and when I stop, the needle will be securing the fabric in the down position. This is great for things like pivoting corners. I can raise the foot and move the fabric without fear of anything moving. Lower the foot again and continue stitching. It's also great when you're working on something when you want to be really accurate and you want to be very careful about where you're placing your stitches, because you can stop multiple times, raise the foot and check everything is where you want it to be. Another feature on the machine that helps with accuracy is the sliding speed control. If I want to really slow things down and be sure that I'm getting it right, I can move the sliding control to the minimum speed. And when I sew, no matter how hard I press on the foot control, it will only ever sew at the slowest rate. You can see there I had my foot right down on the control, but it sewed nice and slowly and I had no fear that things were going to start going too fast. On the Janome 230DC, you've also got the option to sew without the foot control. To do this, unplug the foot control and then use the start-stop button. Press it once to start sewing. Press it again and it will stop sewing. And to control the speed when you're using this method, you can just use the sliding speed control. When you're ready to choose another stitch on the machine, we use the arrows on the control panel to do this, and it's really easy to use. You'll see here there's a chart with the stitches numbered 0 to 29. Use the arrows and the first number shows us which stitch we've selected. It also tells us which foot to use with that stitch. The next number tells us how wide the stitch will be in millimetres, and the next number tells us the length in millimetres. So if I want to select stitch number 22, I could start working my way all the way through the numbers to 22, but actually there's a much quicker way to do that. I can just press the left arrow, jump up to stitch number 20, and then use the right arrow to increase the second number to 2, giving me stitch number 22. The machine's also recommending that I have to use the F foot with that particular stitch, and it's telling me that it's set the stitch width to 7 and the stitch length to 2. If I want to override the width and the length, I can do that with certain stitches. I just use the arrow again to move across, and I can reduce that width or reduce that length. You might also want to reduce the width or length of stitches when you're sewing with a straight stitch or a zigzag stitch, for example. Zigzag stitches you might want to make wider so that you can actually cover an area on some fabric. Very often you might want to sew what we call a tacking stitch, which is easy to rip out when you're having a practice run, and that's when you might want to increase that stitch length. So that's just how to use those for the different types of sewing you might want to do. To change the presser foot, press the black button on the back of the needle bar and the foot will be released. To replace it with an alternative foot, line the bar on the top of the foot up with the groove on the bottom of the needle bar and click it into place. And while we're here, I've attached the zipper foot, and I thought this would be a good opportunity to talk to you about the fact that this machine also comes with several needle positions. When you're in a straight stitch, you can use the stitch width option to move the needle to the left or to the right, and there's actually 15 different positions that come with this machine. So you might be wondering, well, when would I use that? But it's actually really useful for so many different sewing tasks. For example, if you want to sew a zip, this needle position is the standard one, but actually you can see you're not very close to the teeth there. If I use the up-down arrows on the control panel, I can move that needle a lot closer to those teeth, and it's also useful for things like sewing piping or anywhere where you want real precision and accuracy. There's a handy accessory case for storing feet and bobbins, which also removes from the machine and gives you a free arm, which is a great feature for when you're working on things where you need to sew in the round, like a cuff or a neckline perhaps. You can slide the fabric over the end of the free arm, and it just makes it much easier to work with. When the accessory tray is removed, it also enables you to attach the free extension table, which is a brilliant feature of this machine. Normally you'll have to purchase these separately, but with the Janome 230DC it's included. It increases your work area, which is brilliant for when you're working on larger projects like quilts or coats, but it's also great if you're working with something like a stretch fabric and you're worried about the weight of the fabric stretching it out of shape as you sew. It gives you more area for support, which will prevent that from happening. At the back of the machine, you've got the option to drop the feed dogs. Slide the lever across and you'll notice the feed dogs drop beneath the needle plate. This enables you to sew free motion embroidery, where you can move the fabric in any direction as you sew, effectively drawing with the thread to create patterns and pictures on your fabric. So if you're impressed with all the lovely features on this machine, click the link on the screen to visit our website and take a closer look or purchase it. In the box you'll find everything you'd expect: a detailed instruction manual, a foot control, some spare bobbins, needles, a screwdriver, a brush, but you'll also get the free extension table I mentioned earlier and a hardcover, which are things that aren't always included with a machine at this level. Plus, you'll get 6 feet, which will allow you to complete all of the standard sewing techniques you'd expect and to start stretching your sewing skills with some more specialised techniques. You'll find a standard zigzag foot, a zipper foot, an over edge foot for finishing and neatening seams, a satin stitch foot for decorative stitches, an automatic buttonhole foot, and a blind hem foot. And then if you'd like to take those skills even further, there's a wide range of feet and accessories available on our site. You'll be able to purchase things like a walking foot or an invisible zipper foot. Just look for the Janome Category B accessories and feet by clicking the link to our site, and you'll find them there. All of our sewing machines come with a full manufacturer's warranty, so that's 2 years with the Janome 230DC. In the unlikely event that you have a problem, just get in touch. Very often we find problems can be resolved over the phone, but if that's not the case, we'll organise to collect the machine and do everything for you. We offer the best prices, but if you do see a machine cheaper somewhere else, don't hesitate to get in touch and we'll be happy to help. Your new machine will arrive the next working day, free of charge, by courier with a dedicated time slot, so you know exactly when to expect it. I really hope this video's helped and you're excited about your new sewing machine. Thanks for watching.